Okay, so you should have already taken the 1.1b notes quiz. You've kind of done a little scavenger hunt through the notes to find all the information. We're just going to do the first 3 questions that are super easy, so this video is going to go really quickly. Keep referring back to your vocab in your notes as we go through this. So this lesson is about seeing markings in our pictures and knowing how to identify what that tells us. So we can see we have 2 lines that cross here and this little square in the corner. Look back over your notes. What does that little square tell us? Look through all the pictures and see if you can find the one that has that little square. What does this tell us? This tells us that these lines are perpendicular. Perpendicular, perp. I abbreviate that to perp. You may also see that sometimes like this, because that's perpendicular lines. They create a right angle. So that means we have a right angle right here. If you guys don't remember what a right angle is, it's like a corner of a room, right? A right angle has 90 degrees. That means it opens up 90 degrees right there. So those lines are perpendicular if we have that little box. Looking at the next question, so same thing. We've got these little curves here. They're colored in red, but that's not really what's important. What's important is we have these curves here. So look over your pictures, again, in your vocab. Look for where you see something that has these little curves. What does that tell us in our picture here that we have? When we have these little curves like this, these are called congruent angles. So congruent basically means the same thing as equal. The difference is we don't know exactly what the angle is. Like, I don't know if those angles are 30 degrees or 40 degrees or 50 degrees, but I know they're the same. So we say congruent when we don't know the measures, but that we just know they're the same. So the way we can write this is angle A is congruent to, this is the symbol for congruent. It's an equal sign with a little squiggly line over it. Angle X. This is angle A, angle X. Because we know there's only one option for angle A and angle X, we can call it just by one letter. Remember, for an angle, you can do 3 letters, or if it makes sense for the picture, you can do just 1. Okay, let's try this last one. So we have 2 markings here. We've got these little things in the corners, these little squares, and we also have these arrows. Now, these arrows on the ends of the lines just tell us that they're lines, and they're going to go on and on and on forever. It's really these arrows here that tell us something. So once again, look through your pictures, see if you can find what these little arrows tell us. You should already know what this little box tells us because we've already looked at that. Okay, well, the little box tells us that we have perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines. Again, I'm abbreviating that to perp. In particular, how we can say this is line N right here. We can say N is perpendicular to, again, that little symbol means perpendicular. N is perpendicular to line L because we've got this little box, as well as N is also perpendicular to line M because we have this little box. Yeah. So it crosses both of those lines at right angles. Now we also have, once again, these little symbols here. These little symbols tell us that we have parallel lines. Yeah, that means they're headed in the same direction. Like, if you can imagine an air traffic controller being like, go this way. Yeah, they're headed in the same direction, which is why there are little arrows there. The way we write this is we're going to name the 2 lines. We have L and M. So L parallel to M. So this is the symbol for parallel. It's just kind of 2 slanty lines. Oops. Parallel to M. So this means perpendicular, that these 2 lines are perpendicular to each other. This means these 2 lines are parallel. I want to try this one. So we're going to go from here. You're going to go into class, have an idea of what these symbols mean. We're going to continue to practice this, make sure we're good with identifying this information off a picture. Super important skill. If you can't do this, you can't do anything else in geometry.